What's going on here? Another iPhone user pretending to switch, but they're actually just gonna return it 2 weeks later? Nope. Unless you count the track phone I had in 5th grade, this is my first Android phone, so I'm really excited to see what it's gonna be like. Are you serious? Alrighty, the moment of truth. God damn. Tim, I am sorry, man, but this... First of all, it's huge. I did not expect it to be that big. But this is a good looking phone. So I was a little torn between going with this titanium black color and the, I don't know, maybe it's just titanium to be the same as the 15 Pro. And honestly, now that I have it in hand, I am very glad that I went with this color. First impressions, it feels really nice. Regardless, let us turn this thing on. Sorry for no ASMR there. All right, cool. We got a charger, obviously no brick. That's all I wanted. I don't know how to fucking put this back. I am not cut out to be an unboxer. All right, so we are in Android, and first impressions after swiping around for a couple of minutes are that this phone feels very fluid. So throughout the rest of the day, I'm gonna be comparing this to my iPhone, testing all the new AI features, and really just getting it ready to be my new daily driver. So I'll come back in a little bit and let you guys know what I think. So at this point, it's been about 24 hours with the phone. I wanted to give myself enough time to really formulate a first impression after a full day. This is of course not a full review. I simply haven't had enough time to test all the features, and for things like battery life and thermals, I need more data. Back to the color, I am really glad that I went with this titanium black. This finish does pick up some fingerprints, but it's mostly just noticeable when it's being held underneath the light. I'm gonna go ahead and say that I prefer the feel of the Ultra's titanium casing, and in the hand, it's a lot less slippery. This is also supposedly a more durable and scratch resistant exterior, but we'll have to see how it fares longer term. I'm beginning to get used to and actually like how big this phone is, but I still find that one-handed use is a little tough. The corners are sharp, so holding onto this phone firmly will leave a mark in your hand, but when I've just been holding it naturally, it's not quite as bad as I expected. To be honest though, I don't really like the look of all these squared off corners. For sake of saving screen space, it's great, but I don't think I'll ever prefer it to the iPhone's rounded corners. I don't think I'm going to use a case on here, so other than those corners, I think it's going to be a great caseless phone. On my scale, it weighs in at just under 234 grams, which is a lot heavier than the iPhone. Side by side, it does feel heavier, but when just using it throughout the day, it's not obnoxious. Now, I obviously never used the S24 Ultra, but I do know that this all-flat design is brand new for this model. This is a very familiar look coming from the iPhone, but the bezels are noticeably slimmer and are even all around. With the tiny punch hole, it does make this 6.8-inch screen feel a lot more immersive and saves a lot of real estate compared to the dynamic island. The display itself, though, has actually been really impressive. Its 501 ppi pixel density gives the screen an incredible amount of clarity, looking in my opinion quite a bit better compared to the iPhone's 460 ppi screen. It can also get insanely bright, up to 2600 nits while outdoors, compared to 1750. Watching videos on here is an absolute joy. I was watching Andres' 40-minute vlog and god damn did it look good. I think this feature's been around for a few years at this point, but the under-screen fingerprint reader is super clutch to have. It's insanely quick, but my only gripe is that it's such a small area, so I'm often having to reposition my finger. Now, let's get into how it's actually been using this phone. I won't lie, Android has been a little confusing, mostly just because I have to forget all of the muscle memory from iOS, so I'm still using this like a grandpa. I found the settings to be more cluttered than iOS, so adjusting certain things was a bit of a pain. Otherwise, I honestly do love the look of One UI 6. App icons are clean, and I'm just a big fan of this entire interface. There's simple things with Android that iOS just doesn't have, one being how easy it is to record with an external mic. I also know that there's just a ton of ways to customize how your phone looks that I just haven't got to. Though I want to be real for a second, there is just two things that I cannot stand. Number one, I have to say it, is the emojis. They just do not look good. And number two is a smaller one, but I just don't like the selection of ringtones, so I went ahead and reinstalled the iOS ones. Now, that's something I really like that is natively possible. At this point, one of the only things I'm actually gonna miss is AirDrop and partially iMessage. So the camera was an area I was really excited to test because, of course, the iPhone is known for having such a good one. There's a 200 megapixel wide, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and then a 10 megapixel telephoto with a 3x zoom. All of these are honestly super hard to keep track of, but what really matters is how they actually look when shooting. I only took photos just around the office because I honestly didn't have time to take it out, but for the full review, I'm going to change out the locations and get a variety of different lighting situations to really see how this camera performs. From my testing, these cameras seem very capable, but for now, if I had to choose between it and the iPhone, I still think I'd go with the iPhone. What I will say is that the colors on the Samsung are a lot more accurate. The iPhone would sometimes add a warmer tint, as well as add some more contrast. The biggest problem I had with the S24 Ultra is that at its best, it looks really good, but it's just very inconsistent. I'm hoping this can be a software fix, but a lot of times the phone will apply some post-processing that kills the image or just makes it look not as good. The iPhone in every lighting situation throughout my office was able to perform very well. So to let you guys be the judge, I took raw photos on both of these phones, and I'm going to quickly edit them in Lightroom and have you comment which you like better. Alright, so I actually cropped in a little bit more, but both these photos look pretty good, and of course I could have spent more time editing these, but really quickly, I think colors on the iPhone look a little bit better, but in terms of detail, I think the Ultra pulls it off pretty nicely. Let me know what you think. As for video, I was definitely impressed with how the S24 Ultra handled. I think the iPhone still wins, but the image stabilization was significantly better on the Samsung. The colors again are very accurate, which is something that I care about quite a bit, but the lack of vlogs still pushes me a little bit towards the iPhone. For the full review, I'll make a few reels on both of these devices to see which actually looks better. One of the major upgrades this year was with the various AI features, which by the way are still coming to the previous phone. One that I haven't seen talked about as much is the wallpaper generation. It is very limited, but I'm hoping that over time this will improve because it's a fantastic idea. What I think will be the feature I use most is circle to search. By holding down the home button icon, whatever it's called, it'll grab whatever is currently on the screen, and then circling it will provide you with what it thinks is a matching Google search. It's definitely not perfect, but this will be quite useful when watching videos and I see a car or item that I really like. The summarize website feature would be super helpful when you just want to skim through the important bits of a newsletter or article, but it's only available when using Samsung Internet. The same works with the voice recorder, and the first idea that I had was when listening to a podcast or researching for a video, I can actually watch it and then let the phone take notes for me. I was quite excited to test out the AI photo editing, specifically with removing objects from an image, but even with very simple photos, it doesn't always work properly. For very small tweaks, I'll just stick to Lightroom or Photoshop, but to be fair, in an outside environment, this could be a lot more impressive. The last AI feature I want to quickly mention is the one I think is actually most useful, and it's all of the live translation stuff. So you can record a quick message and have it immediately translate into a different language. Now, I took German in high school. I don't know how accurate that is, but you can also do it on a phone call. I just don't have another number to test, or within a text message. So if I want to tell the lad something, so there we go. So after a day of use, I am really liking this phone, and I'm just excited to make this my daily driver. Of course, this is just my first impressions, so in a month's time, I will bring you guys a full review and give you my opinion on whether it's worth the purchase. Damn, this is good.